So topic 2, tattoos. So a huge discussion around my tattoos and just tattoos in general came from the last video I did on tattoos. And I think a lot of people, who have either EDS or HSD are weary of getting tattoos naturally because our skin is often tears easily. Our skin is soft, thin, translucent, depending on the person. Again, everyone with EDS can be totally different. And everyone's experiences are different, so I can only answer from my perspective. I had an interesting comment yesterday from someone, actually, and I'm so sorry, I can't remember the name. I will reply to you. I will reply to you now and tell you that there's this new video up. I had an interesting comment which referred to how the colour in our tattoos tends to stay quite vibrant even years later. Or that was their personal experience anyway. And it's, that is something that has came up in discussion not even too long ago when I was getting my birds done from one of my friends. Hi, Neve. From not watching. But she referenced, or made a joke rather, that because someone did say something to me about like, oh, the color has stayed really well in your tattoos the last few years, and she made a joke about like, oh well, she never goes out in the sun, and that's kind of an ongoing joke about me being maybe a bit of a vampire. I don't know, but I pretended to be insulted for a second and then realized, well, that's actually quite true. As you can tell, I'm very white. I don't, EDS or no EDS, I struggle in the sun. Skin wise, eyes wise, don't have great sight. I've got some what we assume are EDS related eye issues, like not producing any tears. So some of that I think is EDS related, some dysautonomia related, and possibly some of it spinal related. So a mix of everything. So just generally say EDS related eye issues. So going in the sun can be quite painful for me. I can see a lot less than if I was indoors. It's just uncomfortable. And of course my skin burns extremely easily. Even wearing factor 50, I could burn as little as 11 degrees. That's Celsius, by the way, for any Americans watching. None of this Fahrenheit business. But yeah, so I do naturally tend to avoid the sun. I wear a lot of sun cream because I have to. If I don't burn, I blister, so it's I don't react very well to the sun. None of my body reacts very well to the sun at all. So she was making a joke, but it's funny because it's true. But yeah, because of that, my tattoos I think have stayed better. And I also feel like, and I think I mentioned this in the other video, that because I know that I'm going to take slightly longer to heal personally, that I take better care of them then, because I'm more aware. So I get my tattoos, I don't think I actually feel the pain that much. I was worried about getting these done because I do tear quite a lot here. And I find what's really interesting is anytime I needed a small surgery, I've only had biopsies and stuff, I haven't ever had anything major. Oh, like my C-section. Yeah. That was, I suppose, a large scar. But apart from, I've had a couple of minor surgeries. And apart from that, I've had tattoos. But I find things like tattoos and those surgeries that I've had that are purposely done, and those scars do heal better. And tattoos at the end of the day are scars. That's why people with EDS are kind of a bit worried getting them, because we tend not to scar well. But then scars that I've had in the past that were by accident and not on purpose as such, haven't healed as well. So I think we have to take that into consideration as well. So everyone with EDS, and depending on your EDS type, are going to be totally different. So again, I have the hypermobility type of EDS. So if you have classical EDS, for instance, you could be totally different. So I think it's fair enough to be very cautious about it, especially if you're not diagnosed yet and you're waiting for genetic testing, things like that. But for me personally, I find that I take a little longer to heal, but the time, the extra time as such that it takes to heal is like the end time, if that makes any sense. So usually I need an extra week or two just to get there, just to get to the finish line. But it's the first part of the healing tends to go quite well usually for me, so that's good. So I think that's a plus. And I'm more cautious. I'm more cautious of not getting an infection. I'm more cautious of moisturizing and looking after my tattoos, because I know I'm at a higher risk than other people getting tattoos. So there's a lot of pluses there. And being a vampire, not going out in the sun, has really helped the color stay after years. So I mean, you know, we talked about money earlier. Just who needs a diagnosis? Just get loads of tattoos. It's a way better choice. But you're getting more for your buck, I suppose, if the colours can last years. So I have a few more than the last video, because that was 2 years ago. I can't even remember what year it was. I'm going to say 2018, 19. I don't know though. But thanks so much for your interest in my tattoos. I'd love to hear about your tattoo stories as well. You can comment on the other video or reply under this. I'm sure I've missed a lot of questions. I think people just generally wanted to talk about tattoos. I don't think there was anything, there was nothing of huge importance. I think people are just really like, should I get tattoos? And I was like, I can't answer that. I literally can't answer that. I think, again, it depends what type of EDS you have, and everyone's so individual. You mightn't struggle with the healing process at all, and that's great. I would say start off small. I mean, I was just common sense things, like start off small. I was really hesitant to getting hair done because, as I said, I tear easily here all the time, and these healed really, really well. So I surprised myself. So it's just impossible to say. I found the arms are probably the least painful part of the body to get tattooed if pain is something you are worried about. So, if it's something you really, really want to do, life is too short, and make sure you have a really good tattoo artist that you are researching for weeks, that friends have suggested. Make sure you're not just going in to a tattoo parlor and getting the apprentice. You want to be looking at someone's personal account rather than a tattoo shop's account, that kind of way. So stalk that person for absolute weeks. Look at the work they do, and is that the style you want, especially if you're going for something like text. Now I'm just giving general tattoo advice, but if you're going for like a text tattoo, look at the ones they've done before. Make sure that nothing too squiggly, that's not going to like last for years. So knowing your style is very important. Going to a clean shop, things like that. All the general stuff are still important whether you have EDS or not. And then it's someone that you feel that you can trust and explain connective tissue disorders to. Now I have to say, surprisingly, I know I shouldn't say this, but surprisingly, the tattoo artists I've met creepily into skin, because they're artists and they're weird and they're fabulous, but obviously they're going to be really into skin, but they tend to know a little about connective tissue disorders. And they know about skin. Even the ones that have never heard of EDS accidentally know about connective tissue disorders. So probably shouldn't say this, but some of them are slightly more knowledgeable than the rheumatologists I've met. There, I've said it. Yes, just make sure you research a really good tattoo artist that you trust, and that who you think will listen to you about your connective tissue disorder. Now, you don't want to freak them out either, but like, it's just something you should definitely make them aware of, same as any other health issue. So I think that's the two topics kind of covered. Two random topics, just to slightly update. So getting diagnosed here in Ireland as an adult, and also tattoos, general tattoos. If you have comments about either random topics, you can leave me a comment down below, or if anything else, then I might do another frequently asked questions video in the future, on top of other topics that I have planned. I'm very excited to get back doing things like this. And again, also for those of you who are saddos like me and are on TikTok, join me over there too, EDS for IRE. And I'll get talking to you all soon.